Everyone in the supply tent burst into laughter the moment the old man walked in. Everyone except the young recruit, who had quietly recognized something in the stranger's eyes. The Navy SEAL lieutenant smirked, nudged his men, and loudly joked, "So tell us, sir, which war were you in?" "The Civil War." But when the old man finally spoke, his reply froze the entire tent, drained the color from the lieutenant's face, and revealed a truth none of them were prepared to hear. Cha. The day had begun like any other for Lieutenant Harris and his group of fresh trainees. The sun hovered just above the horizon, lighting the dusty ground outside the supply tent. Inside, the air buzzed with loud chatter, jokes, and the usual boot camp energy. Harris was known for his confidence, borderline arrogance to some, and for the way he commanded a room without trying. Most of the new recruits admired him, some feared him, and all of them wanted to impress him. So when the flap of the supply tent opened, and a man who looked nearly 80 walked in, wearing nothing but a blue polo shirt and khaki pants, every head turned. Some recruits snorted with laughter. Others exchanged smirks. Harris raised an eyebrow, amused at the interruption. The old man moved slowly, but with a posture that didn't match his age. His back was straight, his gaze steady. His face carried wrinkles, but his eyes, they were sharp. Uncomfortably sharp. He didn't look lost. He didn't look confused. He looked like he was evaluating the room, measuring every detail like someone who had spent a lifetime scanning danger.
Sir, are you lost?"
Harris asked jokingly, spreading his arms theatrically. "Or are you just checking if we have your Civil War uniform in stock?" The tent erupted in laughter. One recruit nearly fell off the bench. Another covered his mouth, trying not to laugh too loudly. But the old man didn't smile. He crossed his arms, studying Harris with calm patience. His silence stretched on long enough that the laughter faded. Harris tried again, this time louder. "Come on, sir. Which war were you in? World War I, Vietnam, or maybe the Revolutionary War?" Even the recruits felt that joke go too far. Some shifted awkwardly. Others avoided eye contact, sensing something shift in the air. Finally, the old man spoke, softly, but with a firmness that cut through the entire tent. "Which war was I in?" he repeated. "Son, I wasn't in a war." He paused just long enough for Harris to smirk. "I was in every war you've only read about." A heavy silence followed. The old man stepped closer, the tension thick enough that no one dared move. "Fallujah, 2004, he said, his voice steady. "Mosul, Basra, Helmand Province, Operation Red Sand, and 3 more missions that still aren't public." The room froze. A recruit in the back whispered, "Red Sand. That mission was classified." Harris's smirk faded. But the old man wasn't done. He turned his wrist slightly, revealing a faded tattoo. Numbers and coordinates burned into his skin, the kind only special units carried. Then he said the words that made every trainee's stomach drop. Retired Master Chief. U.S. Navy SEALs. 32 years. The entire tent inhaled sharply. Harris blinked. His jaw tightened, his posture stiffened. It was clear he hadn't expected this. For the first time, the recruits saw uncertainty, maybe even fear, in their lieutenant's eyes. The old man looked around the tent, reading every expression, then said quietly, "No, who did you say the old man was?" No one spoke. Not even Harris, whose confidence had evaporated as fast as the laughter. The recruits stared at the old man with wide-eyed awe, guilt, and a sudden rush of respect. Something about him commanded a presence that not even their lieutenant could match. The old man sighed, not angrily, more like he was disappointed, or perhaps tired of being underestimated. He walked slowly to a wooden crate and sat down, resting his hands on his knees. His voice softened. "You boys think age decides a man's worth," he said. "But age is just proof that someone has survived long enough to earn scars you can't see." The recruits leaned in. Some swallowed hard. Others looked at the floor, ashamed of having laughed earlier. Sadzar Harris cleared his throat and tried to regain control of the situation. Ta, Master Chief, with respect. What brings you here? Chaja, the old man turned his gaze toward him, sharp enough to pin him in place. Tata, I was invited, he said simply. Your commanding officer asked me to evaluate your leadership. Cheta, the recruits almost choked. Sadzar Harris's face drained of color. Evaluate my leadership. Chata, the old man nodded. Ja, and what I've seen so far is a room full of boys who follow humor instead of heart, and an officer who hides insecurity behind a loud voice. Cha-chow, a heavy blow, but a necessary one. Sadzar Harris opened his mouth, but no words came. Cheta, the old man continued, his voice steady but filled with the weight of experience. Cheta, leadership isn't about being the strongest voice in the room. It's about being the strongest example. Every soldier needs someone they can trust when bullets start flying. I've seen men freeze under fire, break under pressure, run when others needed them to stand. He looked Harris in the eyes.
Yeah.
And I've seen men who were underestimated rise higher than anyone believed. Chata, one recruit, Private Collins, the quiet one in the group, wiped his eyes discreetly. Something about the old man's words hit deeply. Chata, the old man noticed. Cha-chow, you, he said gently, pointing at Collins. You remind me of a young man I served with, soft-spoken. Always overlooked, but he was the bravest man on the battlefield. Don't let the loud ones fool you. Strength isn't noise. Chata, Collins nodded, his throat tight with emotion. Chata, then, the old man stood, slowly, but with the unmistakable posture of someone who had marched through deserts, storms, and fire. Chajao, I'm not here to embarrass your lieutenant, he said. I'm here to remind you all why you chose this path. Every one of you will face a moment when fear knocks the breath out of you. When chaos tests your purpose. When leadership becomes life or death. Chata, the recruits listened like their lives depended on every word. Chata, the old man took one final step forward. Chaja, and when that moment comes, he said, voice firm, remember what you saw today. Age isn't weakness. Humility isn't weakness. Respect isn't weakness. They're the things that keep you alive. Sadzar Harris swallowed hard. His voice trembled as he said to Cha, Master Chief, thank you for the lesson. Chajo, the old man nodded, not triumphantly, but peacefully. Chaja, teach them well, Lieutenant. They deserve that much. Chotan, and with that, he walked out of the tent. Tata, no one laughed. Sa, no one spoke. There every recruit sat in stunned, reverent silence, processing the weight of the moment. Tata, finally, Harris took a deep breath and said quietly to Joe. All right, men, grab your gear. Training starts now. And this time we do it right. Chaja, the recruits moved with new purpose. Faster, sharper, more focused than ever before. Tada, because that day, they didn't just meet an old man. They met a legend. Cha, and he left them with a lesson that would follow them into every battle they would ever face. Taja.